Okay, and now let's have a look together on our configuration of anomaly detection system. So first of all, when you get into the system, you have option to run a wizard, but we will have a look on the manual steps because the wizard will guide you through. And the system has been already configured, so let's see what kind of configuration we can do here. First of all, you have some data feeds. Usually it can be at least one for data processing. The reason why to have multiple data feed, it would be if you want to process some data in different ways with different sampling, or do some different things with them. So you can see here we have special one for Loadmaster in order to actually trigger different methods. So as for the data feed options, we can activate it. The location is taking place only when we have distributed architecture. You select the profile which you want to use, its channels, if you want to limit the processing somehow, so you can do it here, whether you want to duplicate the traffic and report wrong timestamp, and set up sampling rate if there is any. That will help lower the number of flows processed here. Now the other thing which we can configure here are methods. So you can see not all methods are enabled, and this is usually just fine because you are probably not going to want to run all of them, since not all of them can be relevant in your environment. So you can choose only this active, and the active methods might have also some multiple instances like you have here in service node available. So we have one for default where we have just LAN and public IPs as an instance. So you can see that they are assigned to this data feeds. And then we have a special supply chain compromise, which has another assigned filter where we deactivate some of the submethods. So you can see this is the latest version because it allows us to deactivate just vertical submethods if you don't want to use it, provided IP addresses, and then this way you have basically two different configurations for the detection method. For the custom patterns, these are really just to create some custom behavior patterns. More details about them are written in user guide, but this will allow you to detect specific behavior where you can specify what kind of behavior you are after and what it should have, and then you assign it to the detection method. Additional things is filters. We will talk a bit more about them in the tuning as well as here, but you have multiple types of filter, or actually two types, where you have atomic or relational. Atomic filter usually specify the IP or IP ranges with some nodes. The relational filters are just when you specify some relation between. So it's like where you put together two filters and it will create a final one from them. About false positives, we are going to talk more in the special part, so we skip that one for now. Then you can configure blacklist or local or remote. For remote, you can also specify if it's in MISP format, so you can just specify URL and everything. In CSV, you can specify one for host name, IP or web domain services, so IP port protocols, and JA3 fingerprint, so you can look for that. Then we have perspectives, which are really to assign criticality into the event. So if we have a look, for instance, into this element protection, you can say that we have 2 priority critical high, 3 in high, and that's it pretty much. You can switch it to advanced form, which will allow you to specify not only method, but also submethod, the instance. That's why it can be good to have 2 instances, because then you can specify one as critical, one as low, for instance, or you can use the filters for sources, targets, and data feed as well. So if you unspecify it, it will take everything. You specify it takes just specific method detection. About custom actions, we are going to talk in the specific, like later on as well. So I'm not going to show it now. So let's move on into the system where we have general settings, so non-admin users cannot do changes. We have activated services, so the system has access to the internet, so it can capture it. You can specify where you want to capture host name, for which event, limit flows in flows evidence. So this one might make it faster for search if you limit it to lower number, or you can increase it in case you want to see more there. And then you can choose which of the statistics you want to see in the analysis summary. This one is here because all of the time you are using it, it's actually being calculated, especially threat score can be a bit intense. So potentially if you have many events, it might make sense to disable this one. Then IDS collector, if it's active, it can collect. Storage settings, so that's how long we should keep the events. So you can say default period, which is 143 day, never inactive period. So how long the event should be inactive, and then it's closed. So 15 minutes is less, 16 minutes is maximum. How often it should be updated. So every 5 minutes. You can say this for lower. Again, displays some part when you are talking about processing. Whether we want to attach flows to the collector, then you can assign or provide LDAP in order to provide some more insight to the IP addresses. The same is for McAfee ePOS, where it really can query the data from the system of IP addresses, then assign permissions to the user, set up your preferences, like whether you want to load analysis, how the chart should look like, and show help and things like that. And then you have some customization, so you can name some services. So you say port, IP address, or filter, and give it some name and description. You can use the 6-strong queries, which are then available for search, so it will pass on the parameter. Create custom categories, so this way you can mark the events which are processed or to be resolved, and then you could search for them, and as upload scripts. Again, this will be something we will have a look on later. And then there is a maintenance, so you can apply configuration template, which are just basic, which will ask you also during the configuration wizard, which you can start from here if you want to go through it because you disable it. You can delete all data, reset everything on ADS, clear DNS cache. So if there is something wrong in the internal cache, you can clear the cache and import information about IP addresses. More details about all the options you will find always in the user guide.